Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Success Life Live. My name is Reid. I am your host, your coach, your friend, and your Thursday thinking partner. How's that? Well, welcome to Success Life Live. We gather here every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern to help get the mindset right, because when we get the thoughts right, when we get the mindset, when we start to begin to reprogram this thing, all of the things around us begin to change and transform and become what we want. When I talk about living a life of success, so often people say, well, what does that look like? And it's something far off, to be achieved, to be awarded, to be gifted, to be granted, like happiness. And neither of that is true. Success life, or living a life of success, is about what you're doing now in the present moment and how you're showing up, and what you're giving into the moment and what you're getting out of the moment. So when we talk about establishing a life of success, it's about living your better self, living your significant self, living into that moment as fully as you can, and taking from it all that you can. So welcome to Success Life Live. My name again is Reid, and this week we've been talking a lot about relationships with teams and with difficult people, and the cornerstones of setting up relationships. And if you missed any of those, don't worry, they're down below in the feed, or you can go over to the blog at ericgreid.com and read them as well. Some of them are up on the YouTube channel, and if you're looking for something in particular, feel free to reach out and tap me on the shoulder and say, I need your help. Can't find it, I'll help you locate it. So this morning I wanted to talk about that relationship with self. And it's funny because, I said there are 7+ billion people on the planet. And we spend all our energy trying to connect with as many of them as we can. Social media has made us this connection, like, follower, friend, whatever, junkie. It's like we look at our news feed and it's like, yay, I got a new friend, or I got a new follower, or I got a thumbs up, or I got a smiley face, or whatever it is. It's like we're always seeking outward. And we begin to expand and feel that that's where the value of our life comes. That's where the significance is. And I say sometimes you've got to turn that back in and say, wait a minute, I need to have a relationship with me, self. I need to get straight with the man in the mirror, as my friend Michael Jackson would say. I need to know who I am, and I need to grow who I am one-on-one with me. Now, there was a time quite a while ago that I had gone into an intentional season, so to speak, of not isolation like in growing a beard and living in a hotel room and eating cat food, but I really started to say, you know what, I need to intentionally spend time by myself. Taking walks, thinking, going places, reading books in restaurants instead of looking for somebody to sit down with. I said, I need to figure out who I am. I need to know who I am. And it's probably most important to do, and I always counsel and coach people that if you're coming out of a relationship or a situation like a job or a relationship with a significant other or a spouse, or your kids are growing up and left home and you're by yourself for the first time, or life's patterns have changed, it is the best time to fall back in love with yourself. It is the perfect time to say, you know what, I'm going to take this season and see who I am. Find out who I am, what I like, what I love, what my strengths are, what my identity is separate from other people. And it's funny because I'll sometimes ask somebody, I'm like, so tell me about you. I mean, it's like the guaranteed open-ended coaching question that you can learn everything you need to learn with like one question sometimes. I'll say, tell me about you. And it goes one of two directions. Oh, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a this, I'm a that. And everything that they say is linked and connected to somebody else. Oh, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a school teacher. Like all of the roles that they play in other people's lives is how they identify themselves. It's the labels that they wear. Or it goes the opposite direction. Oh, I'm creative. I'm funny. I'm I'm hardworking. I'm courageous. Like then all of a sudden they start talking about their qualities and their characteristics and what they're made up of and what their DNA is. I'm like, this person, like that person, they're on the right track. They know who they are separate from the likes and the Instagrams and the shares and the thumbs up and the roles that they play, that they could stand by themselves in a room and be completely content with their own company. Whereas sometimes we so over-identify with the roles that we play that when those roles go away or they become less significant in our lives, we start to go, wait a minute, like, if I'm not the dad, who am I? If I'm not the spouse, who am I? If I'm not this in relationship to you, then who am I? Well, that's a really good question. Good question. We all should ask ourselves that question often and frequent. And so that's what I mean when I say, I may take an afternoon and say, you know what, I just need some me time. I need to reconnect to me, this thing here, because I'm feeling like everything I'm doing right now, everything I am, everything is connected way out here. And I need to get back to here, because when I'm back to here, I'm living within my divine place. I'm living within my divine purpose. I can only communicate to my God and my divine through the channel that's one-on-one. He talks to me, not to the roles that I play, not to the people I'm connected to, but he talks to me individually. And if I can't hear me, then I can't hear the message that's being received to me. And so we got to really start working on developing a relationship with ourselves. And that's kind of what we're going to go over today. Don't worry, there's maybe 10, 15 points that I wrote up, but I put them all over on the blog, so if you want to go over and listen to them there. But number one is set an intention and cultivate the awareness. When I mean set the attention and cultivate the awareness of the relationship that you want to identify and build with yourself. Now, our good friend Greg, who's in Rome, is in a really unique and wonderful position because he gets to spend time exploring the countryside and the language and the food and the culture and all the things that are around him. And he sometimes gets to do it alone. And in doing that, he learns who he is in relationship to what he can do in this new environment. It's sort of like, when you learn a new skill and you want to see how far you can take it. Find a way in your day, in your week, in your month to find time to be alone, to test yourself, to challenge yourself, to see yourself in different environments, to say, you know what? I never knew I enjoyed walking the city streets and taking pictures of doorways. I never knew that I love to sit and listen to jazz music because I'm in a car full of kids and every day I have to listen to happy Disney music. Be intentional about developing the relationship in your life with you. Take time and say, you know what? For the next 2 hours, my cell phone, my watch, my whatever is going in a lockbox and I'm just going to be hanging out with me. Hope you enjoy the company. Let's see who I discover. I love walks, and my family knows me. If I say I'm going for a walk, they don't hold dinner. Because I could be gone for 30 minutes or I could be gone for 3 hours. And they're like, how do you walk so long? Do you not at some point just give up and fall down tired? I am so caught up in talking to myself and thinking to myself and coaching myself and just being with myself that I'm just I hang out with me all day long. You got to get intentional about it. Number two is, so often we plan goals built around everybody else. I want to do this for my family, do this for my kids, do this for my community, do this for my team, do this for my... And we set these big goals because of how the other people will see us, how it will look on our accomplishment board. I say set short, middle, and long-term goals specific to you. I want to do this for me. When I was a kid, I loved to color, and I no longer ever get a chance to color, and I would love to go back to being an artist, if that's your goal. So what is my short, middle, and long-term goal that will feed me, just gluttonous feed me? I want to go and learn a second language, and so what is my short-term, middle-term, and long-term goal for doing that just for me? And if everybody around me goes, what you doing that for? Me. Why are you doing that? Me. What do you hope to get out of it? Me. And just go for it. Number three, and I think this really speaks more to women. Sorry, trying to, be politically correct. But prioritize basic care. Now, what I mean by that is I see moms and they're going 90 miles an hour, boom, 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 and they're running and they're charging and they're picking up things at the store for the kids and doing this for the husband and doing this for the community, the PTA or the mom group or whatever. And they're like doing all of this stuff for everybody else. And they say, oh, I went and got my hair done today. I was like, did you do that for you? Well, no, actually, I've got this event coming up next week. Or, I got to go to Pilates this morning. I'm like, really? Are you doing that for you? No, I just know I need to stay fit because I've got an infant. Okay. What are you doing for your basic health, your basic sanity, your basic centeredness, just for you? When are you healing and nurturing and filling your cup? Because you can't pour from an empty cup. We've all seen that on somebody's Facebook feed. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give what you don't get. If you're not loving on yourself, if you're not pampering yourself, if you're not doing something that brings you joy and happiness, how are you going to pour that out into your kids and into your spouse and into the many things that you're involved in your business and etc.? I had a coaching client one. We were going through this sort of example, and she's like, I'm like, what is something you really love to do? And she kind of said some things. We marked them off as, no, that's kind of more kids. No, that's more family. And she said, I love sitting trying on shoes. I was like, what? Like, I don't understand that one. Sorry. That's just like trying on shoes. Like you didn't go to buy them. You just went to try them on and, see what your foot looked like. And she's like, yes, I love that. And so she made a plan to go and get a mani-pedi so her feet looked stellar. And then her assignment was to go out and try on 10 pairs of shoes and take pictures of her feet and all of them. I got a call back. She's like, I had the best afternoon. You should. And she was just talking about these shoes and talking about how her feet looked and how she loved this and loved that. And she had her little photo Instagram thing of all the shoes she made. But she totally spent time doing something she loved, and she wasn't wrangling kids or trying to rush in and out of the store between appointments and taking care of people. She did something that filled her up with such energy and joy and laughter, because she was laughing about it, because she tells the story of the clerk, like, why are you taking pictures, kind of thing. And she did the whole shoe cam thing. She loved on herself in a way that only she could identify with, because she knew who she was. And when she stepped back into the world as the leader and as the mom and as the spouse and all of the other roles she had, she came back in as a bigger, better, fuller person, and they benefited. So number 4 I have on the list is be kind to yourself. We will say things to ourselves that if anybody at a dinner table said it to us, we'd slap their face. The conversations, the bullies that live inside our house, the things that we will say to ourselves, I would smack you down and drag you behind my car if you said it out loud to my face. But yet, I'm quite capable and comfortable saying it to myself. I will say things like, you are such an idiot. Really? Like, did I just say that to myself? Or I don't get something done and I'll be like, man, you never finished. Take it down a notch. Just bring it down. First of all, half the people you think that are watching don't even know you're doing it, and the other half don't care what you're accomplishing or not accomplishing. So quit trying to show the world or worry about their labels. But second, take it down a notch. Take it down a notch, people. We do not need to be unkind to ourselves. The world right now is spinning in a really weird place, and there's a lot of hate and negativity, and our Facebook feeds and our Instagrams and our news cycles are getting uglier and uglier. We do not need to internalize that and bring it home and let it grow. And when you find yourself saying something that feels a little uncomfortable and inclined, do what my friend Sean told us to. Just hush it. Just shh, shh, shh. I don't need to hear that right now. That's not a truth. Shh. Don't need to hear it. Doesn't live up in here. Find yourself someplace else to live. All right? Hey, good morning, Wendy. We're talking about learning to have a good relationship with ourselves. We talked all week about relationships with teams and difficult people, and now we're dealing with the most difficult person, self. So, and then I have a personal crisis plan. So, and I'm going to tell you the story of how we raised our kids when they first came in through adoption, and you'll understand what I mean by having a personal crisis plan. So we have 2 children. They arrived on the same day. They're 15 months apart. So I don't know. That's not Irish twins. That's what we call foster care to adoption placements. And so when they arrived, my daughter, who was 3 months old, it was highly colicky. I mean, like 7 o'clock at night till about 11:34. There was nothing but constant wailing, crying. If you've had a colic baby, you understand. You couldn't break the cycle. I swear all the angels in heaven would like flee to the opposite ends of the earth just to avoid the noise. And as new parents and in the role that we were in, we wanted to be perfect. We wanted it to, we had people watching, reports being written. We had to make it look good. Well, it came to me one day, in all of this pressure to make it right, we were adding more and more pressure to a situation that was already at a level 12. Level 10, 12, you got it? So we decided to come up with purple elephant. Now, what is purple elephant? We agreed that if the other person said purple elephant, they were in crisis management mode. They had reached the stress level that they knew that they needed to have a timeout and just walk away, separate, like everything is fine and safe. No one is going to be harmed, but I need a judgment-free space to move into so I can catch my breath, reconnect, center, breathe, take a moment. And so in the middle of a colicky cry for the 4th night in a row after a hard day of work and paying bills and all the chaos that's going on, we all reach that moment where it's like, I'm in a moment. I'm like literally in a moment right now that I'm about to shatter into 1,000 pieces with no energy to clean it up. So I need to have a crisis plan. And that's where we would say purple elephant. And it simply meant I'm going to my judgment-free space. And when I emerge, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to discuss it. I don't want anything. I just need a place to breathe. We developed a crisis plan for us as a couple. You need to develop a crisis plan for yourself that when you're pushing and driving and going and striving and you're trying to create all the stuff and the kids are screaming and it's been a rainy day and the wiper blades are dull and you're running 15 minutes late and then the kid spills something and like, this energy builds up and goes crazy. Instead of talking that negative talk and beating yourself up and just keeping in the ring, even though you're punch drunk and you're up against the ropes and you should have been Mike Tyson out 20 minutes ago, but you're still going, you need to have a crisis plan in place that says, whoop, speed dial dominoes, hot bath on the line, do not disturb on the door, honey, I love you, but the kids are not going to die because they ate pizza for the 3rd night in a row. The front, boom, that's it. I have a crisis plan in place ahead of time. Because the last thing you want to do is try and manage your crisis plan when you're in the middle of a crisis. Now, I granted sometimes our crises are only for an hour. Crises are only for an hour, maybe a day, maybe a week, maybe a month. But plan ahead of time. Know that you need to take a time out sometimes in the middle of the chaos. Not when it's scheduled for the girls' weekend in late August to go to the Hamptons or whatever. But sometimes in the moment, you need to find a place where you can love on yourself, where you can care for yourself, where you can reconnect with yourself, where you can fill your cup up. And you need to know what that plan is, and you need to exercise that plan when you need to, and you need to inform the people around you that, hey, when I say purple elephant, I'm sorry, but I gotta go. I got to stop. I got to, find my space. And then number 8, and there's a couple that we skipped over, but number 8 on the list was develop good habits. When you have habits, good habits, and you hold to them, what you're really saying is, I'm a priority. I do this thing for me every single day, consistently, always, for me. And I'm not going to give it up. Because when I give it up, I'm giving up myself as a priority. I'm giving up my value. I'm giving up my worth. I'm giving up who I want to become or am. And so I've made this priority in my life. I've made this habit in my life. I've made this pattern in my life, not to push you away, not to keep you at distance, not to be selfish and all about me. But I know that if I don't fall into this habit, this pattern, this belief of who I am, then everybody else gets to run my show. Everybody else gets to run my life. And that's not what I was divinely and perfectly created for. I am here to be me and to be fully me and as large of me as possible. And I've got to carve out little spaces in this chaotic, crazy, difficult world to make that happen, because that is my divine order. That is the charge that I was given by the Almighty, is to get down here and be me and know Him through me. And so the habits that I have are a way of me staying connected to me, connected to my priorities, connected to my likes, connected to my needs, connected to my desires, connected to my dreams, connected to my purpose, connected to my passion. Because when I'm connected to the me, to myself, to the biggest part of me, everybody benefits. Everybody wins. I make a bigger impact, a bigger explosion. I light up the sky in a way that has not been seen before. So don't fault me on my habits. Don't try and take them away. Don't let me slip out of them and into old ones. Because I want to be me. I want to be me. I want to be me. And I want to love me and own me and cherish me and protect me and feed me and grow me. Because there's only one of me in these 7 billion plus people, and there's got to be a reason this one me is here. And so I've got to honor and protect it and cherish it and hold the guardrails around it. Because if I don't, I'm not being of service to the one that said, get down there and do what you got to do. Be you. All right? All right. So now you see why taking an intentional action to loving yourself, to developing a relationship with yourself, to pouring into yourself is so important. I hope you guys will go over and check out the blog, ericgreid.com, and start to say, you know what is one habit? Challenge time. Dr. Holly Kelly's not in the house. Somebody's going to need to tell her to get here and hear it. What is one habit that I can establish or reestablish in my life that feeds me? That feeds me, the divine me, the perfect me, the unique me, the creative me, the awesome me. Well, see, Julia, now you just almost opened up my Sunday preacher man thing, because the church is within us. All right? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go on that whole lesson there. But the church, I know the teaching. You know, where's the church? The church is here. Upon this church, upon this heart, upon this person, upon this rock. So you need to start, we could say, here we go, Julia. You need to get to church. You need to get to self. You need to get to love. All right? So anyhow, I want to go over tomorrow. Today on the YouTube channel, will be posted the video. It'll be late day on the 5 keys to successful social media strategy. And then up on the podcast, which some of you may or may not have heard, is now being picked up by iHeartRadio. So it's going to be on iTunes, and by the end of the week, iHeartRadio. I actually got a request for a new bumper, the intro and outro. So working on that as well. But we're going to be creating the ultimate relationships, the 5 disciplines of love. So I hope you guys will check that out. I might laugh, and we both enjoyed listening and talking. Well, good morning, Jean, and good morning, little 8-year-old. I know your kids' names, but they're I see them, but anyhow, good morning, little 8-year-old. I'm going to tell you, little 8-year-old, keep a journal of the things I love. This is what all adults wish we had. So because you're at the 8-year-old level, you get to do it while it's still important. Keep a list, maybe every year on your birthday. Hey, Julian, write a list of things I love doing this year. And when you get to be 30 or 40 or 50, I don't know what that feels like, or 60, pull out that list and then go back and do them all as a 50-year-old. Do them again as a 40-year-old. Do them again as a 30-year-old. When I was 8, I loved doing this. keep doing it. Like every year, write down the I love doing this thing. And so when you're like 30 and you're sitting around and you're like, man, I hate my life. I don't like my job. I wish I had something I love doing. You have a whole list of things you love to do. You just had to give them up because that's what happens when you start to get old. We tend to give up things that we wish we had hung on to when we were 8 and 9 and 10. So, just what I loved about my life being 8 kind of thing. What I loved about my life when I turned 9 or my ninth year. Because trust me, every adult in this room will say, man, if I could just be 8 again for a day. If I could just be 9 again for a day. If I could do the things that I did when I was 12. Man, when I was 12, I loved surfing. You know what? Go surf at 30. Go surf at 40. Go surf at 50. They never put an age limit on it. Shh. Do the things you love, Jillian. Do the things you love. There will be... Now, not to undermine Eugene, do the things you're responsible for too, but do the things you love. And never let go of that list. Never let go of that list. All right? Tin Can moments. Even for Tin Can moments for an 8-year-old. I'm not going to get on Sonia. She's got a deadline. Mother's Day is fast approaching. Tomorrow is Fun Friend Friday. And I don't know if Gail's in the room and we'll upset her dog with Fun Friend Friday with my friend Kayleen. It is going to be amazing. I'm telling you, you have got to be in the room. You have got to bring 3 people with you. She is such an amazing mom and leader and inspire and person of faith. I mean, when I look at her, man, she holds on to faith when most of us can't even get out of bed. She is a faith warrior. She is a faith amplifier. But the thing I really honor about her is she does it in this like warm sun way kind of way. You know how like when you sit in the sun and all of a sudden everything inside of you starts to warm up and your bones feel warm? That's the way I feel faith radiate off her. And so you tell her you're looking forward to seeing her tomorrow morning. Send her a message. I'm going to post the Face Fun Friend Friday picture thing. So share it out and invite some people. So that will be tomorrow. And that starts at 8 a.m. Eastern. And until then, go out and make today awesome. You are so worthy and you are so unique and special. Love on yourself today. Develop it as a new habit. Develop it as a new priority. Develop it as your goal for this year. I'm going to learn to love myself. And I'm going to celebrate myself. And I'm going to sing about myself. And I'm going to explode myself all over to the world. Because myself, me, I'm perfect. I'm divine. I'm awesome. All right. I appreciate you guys jumping in, joining me, sharing it, liking it, making the comments, and making it happen. It is because of all of your encouragement and support that I continue to do this day after day for well over 1.5 years now. And I think that was part of what ended up getting iHeartRadio to say, you know what? He's not always good, but he's consistent. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for that gift. If I can do anything for you, let me know. Again, I am a coach and I'm a speaker, as you can tell. And this is what I do every day. And I'm lucky and blessed to be able to do it. So thank you guys very much. Go out and have an awesome day. I will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern for Fun Friend Friday. And again, my name is Eric Reid. And if you need to find out more about me, you can always do it at ericgreid.com. And that's REID. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye, everybody.